Welcome to Unlocking Las Vegas with your favorite redhead realtor, Erin Mills. We're going to be covering the greater areas of Las Vegas all the way to Pahrump and Mesquite, talking about trends, events, sports, and more. I'm super excited to welcome all of our guests this year and have a great time, which is everything Unlocking Las Vegas. Welcome back to another podcast of Unlocking Las Vegas with your host, Erin Mills and
Leslie McGarry, Hustle and Heels LV.
What's going on? So I want to start with a totally random fact. I'm loving this. I'm going to find the book on Amazon. It's old sayings and where they came from.
Okay.
Do you know where sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite came from?
No.
It's good. Okay, so when we were touring these old mansions in Savannah, so the old beds, they would have like these ropes, right? And every once in a while you would have to tighten the ropes because your body weight would make them, kind of soft. Yeah. In Savannah, they were stuffing their mattresses and the pillows with the famous Spanish moss, which does have bugs in them. So unless you wash them and dried them appropriately, you would get bitten by these bugs. So hence, sleep tight, roll your little ropes and don't let the bed bugs bite. Isn't that a good one? I'm such a nerd. I know. I like old time facts. That's your historical lesson for the day.
Except for it's not funny now since people do get bed bugs.
I know. And you know what? It's not the same. They're not the same bed bugs. It's a whole different strain. But anyway, so those are the original bed bugs.
And you're welcome.
Yes. Okay. So there you go. Now you can sound smart on a date or something. All right, cool. So, I am so sick of beating like this NAR thing up to death. But as agents and lenders, as we are constantly training our brain and going through the waves, with everything that's coming out, which we're waiting for, it's like a lot, and try to put our pieces together. So I have a listing that went up and I wanted to talk about, because I'm the listing agent, how people are communicating with me and what I like and what I don't like. And I find it very entertaining. On the lending,
now people, do you mean clients or do you mean both? Other agents? Okay.
Both. Right. So I have had an influx on buyers that calling me and they're saying they're unrepresented. So now here's where the news comes into play. They're like, oh, forget it. Well, I'd have to pay the buyer's agent. I'm just going straight to the listing agent. I am one of those listing agents that I've only done kind of what we call loosely dual agency only 3 times in my entire 8-year career. And it was super clean.
Explain what that means.
Yes. So dual agency means that I will represent the seller and the buyer. I do not prefer that. Okay. And I'll tell you why. But the only reason why I did do it in certain circumstances is we got an over the list cash offer, nothing that we had to worry about, no appraisals, no inspections, clean deal, close in 7 to 10 days. Everybody was happy. And I reduced my commission to save the sellers a little bit more because I knew it was going to be super clean. Yeah. Only 3 times. This is unicorns, people. Because what you're doing and saying, and I tell my sellers in the listing presentation, I am here to have the strongest fiduciary duty to you. So if I have somebody walking into this house I have listed, I'm going to get my sellers the best price when they're coming in, for all of their fixes and all the things. I'm negotiating for the seller. How could you, give me a scenario where this would be happy. Over here, of course, I'm trying to get my buyers, the sellers to cover closing costs, the sellers to fix everything, the sellers to pay for the home warranty. So I don't know how I would sleep at night in order to get the best deal for both people. Super, super rare. I'd rather not put myself in that situation.
I'm in the middle of one right now.
So on a lending side, you were just naturally involved into something that happened.
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm telling these people is, listen, I will send out 5, I'll give you 5 cards of people not in my brokerage firm, not in my office, for you to choose to use because I respect them. I know they're good. They'll be good for you, and you're going to have them write the offer. And my sellers are clear with that.
Now, do you think that will be something that will become a bigger topic and a bigger point of contention for you if this all goes through the courts in July?
I'm sure there's probably 500 ways that could go different. There's now 500 ways that could go different. So what I do appreciate is all of the buyer's agents are calling me. Now we're still in the phase where I can put, here's your co-op. Here's exactly what you're getting. I'm still in that phase. But people are calling me to make sure. We're not really close to July, but I love the vocal communication because I always hated, hiding behind the screens. Like when I was putting in offers, I wanted to call and go to their brokerage and meet with them and present in person.
Well, you answer your phone.
I do answer my phone. I do.
There's topic number one.
Yes. And I like everybody to get on the same vibe. Let's make it good and happy, and very strict. Like I'm just like clean by the book. So anyway, I can feel it a-coming. But I had a lady call and she was like, well, no, I go to the listing agents because it's going to save the seller money. And I'm all, no, it actually won't. I was like, if you have your own representation, see, she wants me to represent both to get a good deal. And I'm going to pass on some savings to the seller, but is it really going to be a good deal for my seller? If I'm over here with this buyer trying to cut down the price,
right?
It's like, you know what? No, I don't like that. So again, I will give them 5 different recommendations of people that I respect in town that I know will do a good job, clean, responsible people. And you know what? It's even more than the power of 3. They can choose from the 5 I give them.
I've been a lender forever, really. And I feel like I've never really understood why the dual agency is allowed, because I think it does open you up for more scrutiny. Yes. I think it does open you up for more lawsuits. I think it especially now that you can see sellers and buyers suing for this kind of stuff.
Even though I have a team, I'm taking it a step further. So it's like, oh, I'll give it to somebody in my office. I still think that's too close to home. I still think it's just too close. And so I'm actually going outside of my team, outside of my offices. Do you know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you this question, because I don't have my real estate license. I only do the lending side. So when you write the contract and you present that to your seller, that is a fiduciary binding obligation to the seller first.
Yeah, 100%.
First.
And there's a little box they can check. Sure, we will allow you to bring in the buyer. And I'm like, look, go ahead and mark it. I normally don't do it, but if it's super clean and cash, I can save you money, but it's rare. So go ahead and mark that right here. And yeah, so your fiduciary duty is like this big. And I'm all, but I also have a responsibility to be honesty and truthful and to everybody else, like a normal, decent human being. But yeah, this one is, I'm here for you to get you the best deal possible. And essentially it says keep your secrets. So it's like if you're getting a wailing divorce, the buyers don't need to know that because they're thinking they're going to, pin on your emotional sale.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Or it's like, just keeping the secrets, no matter what that is.
So where does that bring your value now then, on both sides, listing and buyer side? If this does transpire in July, how are you going to explain to people what your actual value is for them for your...
On the listing or the selling side?
Both.
The listing side, it's pretty clear, because people know I have the education. I basically give them a resume, a whole listing presentation, tell them what I'm doing. Like our client just left and I was like, don't even clean the house. I'm going to come in, totally clean the house, do all the things for you. Don't even worry about that. You know what? If it's under like $500, like I'll bring in my handyman. We'll just get some stuff done. So, we pre-inspect it, and that is not to be shared with the buyers. It's just for my sellers to know what would and could come up on an inspection. So that's a little part of my value over here on the listing side. Buyer side, it's gonna be rough. I think that there is going to be a lot of people like me telling the sellers, at the end of the day, if you're not offering this compensation, if they don't have the money to buy it, it's just less feet in the door. And they will have to call me to get what the compensation may be. It'll be a little bit, it's like, learning how to surf. But eventually you keep doing it and everybody's gonna be fine. So I'm not trying to be worried. I just want everybody to be honest and fair and clear and concise. And again, we do a lot of first-time home buyers. We do all loans. Let's be clear. Yeah. We do millions of dollar loans. We do $250,000 loans. Okay, there is a difference, but sometimes even the millionaires do not have that extra money. What's a lot of money. 2.5 on $1 million?
That's a lot of money.
Exactly. So the scale is the same. So anyway, that was just my little chit chat about what I'm seeing right now. And I got multiple offers in, just a few days, but it was priced right, and it's a wonderful house, good location, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
I think people are out there. I hate to see this on TikTok and Instagram. Buy a house really, really quick now before July so I get paid. What? Oh my Lord. I feel like there's a lot of like forced purchases happening, and I don't like it. I don't like it because...
Well, and here's the thing is, it's false information because it's not through the courts yet.
It's not technically legal. We have nothing to pin all of these videos with information on.
And we don't know how that's going to pan out. We don't know what the legal forms are going to look like.
Don't know what the forms look like. Don't know, what to put where. I've heard way too many, and it changes every day, every week. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty for our audience, but it's a lot of like up, down, and sideways that... Guess what? We don't really have... I like the black and white legal documents, and I want to hear it from the president of our association.
And it's...
Otherwise, I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
Things ebb and flow. And look, I've sat in many, many, many rooms over the last few weeks with realtors, and, we went through it in the mortgage world, and it shook us like a snow globe, and it's been 13 years, and we all survived. And
what was it? The 3-day right to review? What's your word for it?
We used to make X amount in commission. They reduced that. We used to be 1099. We're now W-2'd. Everything has to be disclosed. Everything has to be on the disclosures. They have to see locked LEs. They have to see loan estimates. Like, you just can't, you're not willy-nilly things anymore.
Well, look, at the end of the day,
we're fine.
I think that our careers need to be taken more seriously.
For sure.
And like, what it averages in whatever state you're in, between 30 and 40 hours of continuing education per 2 years. What do we do per week? 15 hours?
At least.
So I think that, I hate to say this, but it's kind of going to weed out those realtors that don't want to put in the education. And you know what? We should have like a more solidly built bank of agents for people. Like, I understand when I'm getting offers from different people, like, oh, they know what they're doing. I really don't want to take your offer. I will walk you, hand hold through it. It's just like anything, it's like, if you want to be a pastry chef, do you want the guy who just started to do your wedding cake or this one?
We've talked about this with using online lenders. And why local real estate agents are not super fans of online lenders, because you've got to be able to talk to someone. You've got to have somebody that understands the market. You've got to have somebody that answers the phone, walks the clients through it, shows up at a closing if they need it. You've got a guy, AI.
10 deep that I have to try to find at Wells Fargo or whatever.
We just did one with, and it was... You did it with your HELOC, and I just had another exact same one. If you're a basic doing a HELOC, it's normal. You're using AI, it goes fast. But when you have something that's different, like you had a trust, this one had a trust, and it was different. Now we're up in arms because there's not a person.
Stay with that timeline because there's not a
a person. And so I think that this is where the value
this is
comes.
Why we're not going to be replaced. Like, people bring that up, and I'm like, I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to take a nap, guys.
No, and listen. I'm not a hysteria person. I'm an educate myself, know what's going on, kind of stay on top of it, but I don't deal in hysteria. It's not here yet. We've just got to be prepared. Build out your value. You should have always been building out your value to a client.
That's in my blood, doing weddings for, 25 years. I was the last person that could get hysterical. I've always had to have the level head to, even when I was...
It's the only thing that works.
Yeah, I was in the host MGM. And it's like, if a reservation wasn't right, or I was the calm one to get it situated behind me while I'm smiling, to then present it to him fixed and done. That's where we're good. Give me 5. We are the best at that. We are the best at that. Well, so that's just our little like weekly update, I guess we should call it, with like the NAR situation is what I'm going to call it.
It's just the situation.
National Association of Realtors, the lawsuit. So anyway, you can visit previous podcasts to kind of dive in on that, or simply turn on the news for a lot of misinformation. Don't get on TikTok. Don't get on Instagram. Let's all keep educating every single week and day, getting the pieces that we can get, and then just be like ready to go when it happens. So let's stop.
We're going to be fine.
Stop. We'll be here. We'll be here, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Erin.
Bye. Have a good one.